Hello and welcome to Good Game Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Bajo.
And I'm Hex.
And I am D.A.R.R.E.N.
Coming up on the show, we go looking for a lost cat without our sense of sight in Beyond Eyes.
And we cruise the galaxy looking for some pew-pew space combat in Galak-Z the Dimensional.
Nothing left to lose now. Lasers, missiles, space rockets.
I thought you'd like the look of that game, Darren.
Affirmative, Bajo. Now, get ready for some brain pain, spawnlings, because it's time for a Darren's Challenge! Today, I'm asking you this. Platforming hero Mega Man is known by a different name in his country of origin, Japan. What is that name?
Oh, I totally know this one, but I won't give it away because now it's time for the news with Goose.
Thanks guys, Goose here at the Spawn Point News Desk. A study into the energy consumption of gaming PCs has revealed they use a staggering amount of electricity a year. The report found that despite gaming PCs only making up about 2.5% of the PC market, they used 20% of the power. In total, the power consumption costs about $14 billion worth of electricity per year and takes the electrical output of 25 typical power plants. The study found the average gaming PC used 6 times more power than a regular PC and 10 times more than a console. Whew. Watch out, Darren, because you might just have a new contender for best cheese toasty making robot out there. And the crazy thing is, it wouldn't even need to be programmed to know how to make them. The robot known as PR2 is being developed as part of a program called RoboHow, which aims to create robots that can read internet articles and learn how to cook various items on its own. Then, once one of the robots learns how to do something, it can then share that expertise online with other robots. Wow, wonder who'd be better at cooking a cheese toasty. Anyway, that's all the news for this week. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Goose. Beyond Eyes is the story of a little girl called Ray who is involved in an accident that leaves her blind. Through this game, we're taken on a journey with her as she rediscovers the world without sight.
Without the ability to see, Ray's world has become isolated and a bit frightening. Her world is pieced together from what she remembers of it, and that is what we see too, beautifully drawn in vibrant watercolour.
Ray's loneliness is soon broken, however, when a new friend comes into her life in the form of a little ginger cat called Nanny, who visits Ray often in the safety of her garden. Aww, kitty friends are the best friends.
Absolutely, Darren. But one day Nanny doesn't visit.
Nanny?
So Ray plucks up the courage to venture out into the world to try and find her friend. And through this adventure, we're able to imagine what it might be like to live through life while vision impaired.
The first thing you have to get used to is the fact that you are forced to walk very slowly. I know you tend to have an issue with slow walking in games, Bajo, but in this context, I do believe it makes sense.
Yeah, I do too as well, Darren. No blind person would be racing around an environment that they weren't sure of.
Well, not to mention Ray is young, uncertain, and alone. I mean, she has every reason to be cautious here.
True, that being said, you will have to come to terms with the fact that playing this game will require a lot of patience.
Think of it as a peaceful, relaxing experience. The environment around you slowly appears and fills out as you move, and Ray uses her other senses to take in her surroundings. What we see is what Ray is seeing in her imagination, pieced together from what she remembers.
One of the main senses Ray has to rely on now is sound. Woodpeckers, birdsong, dogs barking. These sounds will also help paint the picture Ray is wandering through.
Something I found quite interesting was that often Ray would hear a sound she recognised and form a picture of what she thought it was. But then, as she gathered more data, she would realise it was something else entirely. The image would then change.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it? I imagine suddenly not being able to rely on sight would be quite confusing at first and take some getting used to.
Yes, but still, most of this game revolves around moving through garden after garden, trying to find the pathway that will lead you to the next area. I certainly have a new appreciation for people who are vision impaired, guys, because this was so frustrating. Constantly trying to move ahead and just hitting so many obstacles. At every turn, your path is blocked.
And it's well represented visually because so often it seems like there could be a gap or an opening, but as soon as you get close to it, another wall, another fence.
Unfortunately, it makes for a pretty frustrating and tedious gaming experience, doesn't it? Even though I fully appreciate what this game is trying to do, which is accurately represent living with blindness.
Well, perhaps it serves as an interesting experiment to see if gamers are willing to accept something like restricted movement in the spirit of experiencing the world a different way.
I did find it really beautiful, though, how when Ray encountered a really scary or unfamiliar sound, the colours of the world would turn dark and the music would turn sinister.
Yeah, I like that too. I just think the whole thing needed a few extra helpings of game thrown in to make it a more engaging experience.
I agree.
You know, some more puzzles, maybe more unique ways to make your way through the environment. There is still much to celebrate though, and the devs should be applauded for creating an environment through which we can try and relate to living in a world without sight.
What are you giving it?
Well, this is such a lovely and charming idea. I just wish the game had more of a lasting impression. I'm giving it 2 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's a shame about those controls as well. I'm giving it 2.5 rubber chickens.
My senses detect that you two are needed at the spawn point desk.
Let's go!
Off you go. Answer those questions. The spawnlings need you.
Okay, let's get to some of these questions.
Up, not so fast, Hex! Look at this!
Made a mess. Well done.
Thank you. Not only have I made a mess, but all of these are complaints.
Oh no.
Yeah, against Darren.
Oh.
And you know what? They're all actually about the same thing.
Oh, well, I guess then any of these will do. So, to begin with, how about we go with this one? It's from Fuzzy Swimmer, the king of gaming, Noob Exterminator, who is inside Darren, fixing him up, which is in New South Wales. Hi, it's me again, the king of gaming. It's Noob Cup time! In the Airscape review, Darren said octopuses instead of octopi. This can't be denied at all because this is not pronunciation. It is totally incorrect. No objections. Last time, I asked you guys about the Wii, and I'm wondering if I should ask for a Wii U for Christmas or get another console. Thanks. P.S. Bajo, do these. PPS, Hex, do these. Your favourite. It is my favourite. Bye, Fuzzy out.
Oh, he is so busted! Let's see him try and weasel his way out of this one.
Where's the phone?
Hello.
Darren! Hi, Darren. Darren, it's Bajo.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, we have so many complaints about you this week, mister. Prepare yourself for the noob cupping of your life.
The noob coming of your life.
Oh, well, what are the complaints about?
Okay, so you said octopuses rather than octopi, which the Spawnling says is incorrect.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, right, Darren. You're just saying that to get out of drinking from the noob cup. All of these spawnlings cannot be wrong.
Well, they are. All wrong. You see, octopi has mistakenly been used as the pluralization of octopus so often that it has become an accepted variant by many. However, octopuses is widely considered by authorities on the English language to be the far more accurate and appropriate pluralization. Look it up. It's in the dictionary if you don't believe me.
All right, well, we'll see about that.
It's big.
Okay.
Good thing you had that on standby, Hex.
Okay, we're gonna prove this once and for all.
Oh, you'll
All right,
see.
let's see.
You'll see.
Oh.
It's right in there.
Octopus. Okay, plural. Octopuses. Well, I'll be.
You see, words with a Latin origin that end in us are usually pluralized with the I convention. However, octopus is a Greek word, so that rule doesn't apply. If I may quote from the Oxford Dictionary, it states quite clearly that the standard plural in English of octopus is octopuses. However, the word octopus comes from Greek, and the Greek plural form for octopodes is still occasionally used. The plural form octopi, formed according to rules for some Latin plurals, is incorrect.
Well, I guess you can't argue with Oxford, and I also guess that you're in the clear for now, Darren.
Hang on a second, Bajo, not so fast. I am sick and tired of all these false accusations of noobery by the spawnlings. They should be made accountable for their foibles. They should drink from the noob cup.
What? Darren, I'm not sure the spawnlings are going to like that.
I don't know, Hex. Darren has spoken. How do we do this?
Well, I've got the noob cup right here. I guess we just throw the contents of the noob cup out at the spawnlings.
Yeah, okay, all right. Go for it.
All right.
Good luck, everyone.
You ready? It's really gross.
So hideous! I was felt for sure that we had Darren that time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, bye, Darren.
Bye. Well, as for your question about whether to get a Wii U for Christmas, well, it's a great console with loads of great games, so I'm sure it'll make an awesome Christmas present.
But just be aware, Nintendo will be announcing more about their next console sometime next year. It probably won't actually come out until 2017 or sometime around there, which is a long time to wait, but still, it's something to keep in the back of your mind.
True, definitely something to consider. But anyway, let's move on to this one from Daniel in Helidon in Queensland.
What is the game where you are a jet that can quickly start hovering? And it is a MMO, shooter, fast-paced, and spaceship type.
Well, Daniel, I'm pretty sure the game you're talking about is Strike Vector. Here's a look. And that's available right now on PC, and there is a new version called Strike Vector EX, which is coming to PS4 and Xbox One at some point later this year.
Although, if that's not the game you're thinking of, then the only other game that I think we've looked at that would match that description would be Strike Suit Zero, which looks like this. And that's available on PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Well, hopefully one of those is the game you're after, Daniel, but let's move on to this one now from the King of French Perth, who is in French Perth in New South Wales.
Oh, sacre bleu, King.
Hi, GGSP. I would just like to ask 2 questions. 1. Will KSP be released on Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, and PS4? And 2. What PC games can I get from the internet, such as Euro Truck Simulator 2, that I can get for free and is also safe? P.S. Darren is not an noob.
Well, your French Highness, Kerbal Space Program has recently announced that it will be coming to all current consoles, so it will be available for PS4, Xbox One, and Wii U at some point in the future.
As for free games like Euro Truck Simulator 2, well, you can get a free demo of that if you want.
And there's a free version of Tricky Truck, which is a silly physics-based truck game which might be worth a look too. But if you want to see a whole bunch of free games, then we'd suggest checking out Steam. Just select Free to Play under the Games tab and have a look through those.
And you can be pretty sure that anything you can get on Steam is going to be safe and virus-free. But some of those games can still be big downloads or might not be appropriate for your age, so check with a grown-up first before downloading anything. But let's move on to this one now from the Ginger Ninja, who is in Hobart, Tasmania.
Hey GGSP, last week on Ask Good Game, a Spawnling asked about motion capture and you showed someone making a raccoon talk by webcam. I was wondering what he used. This is really urgent, so please answer. Thanks. Well, Mr. Ninja, that program is called Face Rig, and you can get that for PCs. It isn't free though, so do keep that in mind.
And it might be worth noting that if you plan to use it for making Let's Plays or videos, then you can. But if those videos make more than $500 a month, then you'll need to buy a more expensive pro version.
But if you're not some big online celebrity, then I'm sure the standard version will be fine.
Okay, well, let's move on to this one from the Queen of Halloween, who is in Halloween Town, New South Wales.
Sounds like a spooky place.
Hey guys! Okay, first off, Hex's high fives are fine, bango. To Ed, do you know any DS games that is basic on the 2012 DreamWorks movie Rise of the Guardians? If so, where can I get it? And what is it like if you ever played it? Third, can you play DS games one other kind of DS's, like 3DS, 3DS XL, DSi? Yeah, bango, my high fives are fine.
Look, Hex, I didn't want to break it to you, but yes, your high fives were fine years ago, but have you kept up with the training?
No.
Have you gone to all the high five conventions this year?
What high five conventions?
That's my point. There's been 17 of them so far. Have you even got a subscription to High Five Magazine Weekly?
There's a high five magazine weekly?
I rest my case. But yes, there is a DS game based on the Rise of the Guardians movie, and it is called Rise of the Guardians, the video game.
As for where you can get it, well, that could be a little trickier. It can be hard to find many shops still stocking original DS games, but if you get a grown-up to help you look online, we found a few copies available to order.
Most of them seem to be from overseas websites, but that shouldn't be a problem since the DS isn't region locked. Just try to make sure you get an English version so you can actually understand the game.
We haven't played it though, so we have no idea if it's a good game or not. But finally, yes, you can play original DS games on all of those types of DSs that you listed. And we have time for one more question, and it's from Gideon, who is in Gideon Land, Western Australia.
Dear Good Game, I have been wanting to know if there will be a Forza Horizon 3. I have played the others. Also, Hex is awesome. Bajo and D.A.R.R.E.N are the worst. Bye, guest. Hobes.
Well, Gideon, they haven't confirmed that they are making a Forza Horizon 3, but I'd say it seems very likely that it will be coming out. And I'd even hazard a guess that we'd see it come out at the end of next year.
Judging from the last few years, there's been a pretty steady pattern to the Forza games. So, in 2011, we had Forza 4. Then the next year, there was the first Horizon. Then the year after that, there was Forza 5. And then the year after that was Horizon 2. And this year, we're getting Forza 6. So if you follow that pattern, that intricate pattern, it seems safe that yes, there'll probably be a Horizon 3 next year.
Yeah, although until they actually confirm that's the case, we're just guessing. But it seems like a pretty safe guess as far as these things go. But on that note, we're out of time for this week, so if you'd like to ask us a question, then you can go here and send it in.
Hex, I've got some literature to show you about high fives, and also you should meet my high five master. He's a great teacher, and he's got all the latest kind of moves, and...
When did you get a high five master?
You don't have a high five master? Well, it's a good thing that in space no one can hear you scream, because Galak-Z the Dimensional is one of the hardest games I've ever played.
Galak-Z certainly stacks the odds against you, doesn't it? Playing as the rookie A-Tak, you're the sole survivor fighter pilot stranded in deep space after an alien army has obliterated the fleet. Your only help comes from Officer Beam, who feeds you tips and missions from the Exilius command ship. I thought the game did a great job of setting the scene and teaching you the ropes.
Yeah, me too. The ship designs and characters reminded me a lot of those old 80s cartoons. And I thought the banter between A-Tak and Beam had loads of personality.
A-Tak, did you get turned around? I need you to head the other way.
No, I was just checking out space. Yep, still dark and cold.
But let's talk gameplay.
Affirmative. Galak-Z is a PS4 space combat game that fits into the roguelike genre. It takes inspiration from the momentum-based ship controls of classics like Asteroids, and mixes it with the randomly generated levels and unforgiving permadeath of recent roguelikes such as FTL.
It did take me a while to feel comfortable with the controls because they're far more complicated than most shooters.
Remember, steering and thrusters work together.
Thankfully, the game drip feeds you the basics well, like how to juggle your ship's direction while swapping between forward and reverse thrusters.
Yeah, the controls are tricky, especially when you throw in the limited turbo boosts, and the Duke ability, which lets your ship flip into the foreground to dodge bullets.
Oh, when it all comes together, it's brilliant. Boosting away from enemies, then spinning around and shooting at them while I was still hurtling away from them made me feel like a real space ace.
Ooh, bye-bye.
Amazing!
Now I think we need to talk about the game's best feature, the lasers.
Oh, Darren, I think we should talk more about the controls. They're pretty important.
Negative! It's the lasers! Your ship starts with a single laser, which is good for exterminating the smaller space bugs. But later on, you can upgrade to faster firing rates, larger spreads, and even ricocheting shots. So much destructive power!
All right, Darren, settle down. It did certainly give me a lot more confidence flying into battle with a really powered-up ship.
Laters. Ooh, he wasn't bad.
Especially if I had plenty of guided missiles to unleash. Although you still have to keep your wits about you because a single mistake can mean game over.
Don't remind me. My first few deaths were heartbreaking. I'd be doing really well with loads of upgrades and completed missions under my belt. Then, bam! Everything's gone. All my upgrades, all my progress, gone! Oh no!
Oh, come on, Bajo. You'll never win the war with that attitude. Like in many other roguelikes, death is just another part of the learning process. It teaches you caution, because sometimes it's better to power down your engines and silently drift past enemies undetected.
I never thought I'd see you running from a battle, Darren, but I do think you're onto something. I also snuck past my fair share of enemies, especially when I had enough crash tokens to revive myself and retry the current mission.
Ah, yes, the bittersweet revive system. You gain the chance to limp through a later mission with all of your upgrades stripped away until you can find your stash of weapons hidden somewhere on the level.
True, but then regaining all of your power-ups, worth it.
Affirmative. By robbing you of so much when you die, the game forces you to risk everything constantly. But then these high stakes make each win so much sweeter.
Oh, well played.
After escaping each mission alive, I'd fist pump the air in victory! Even though the missions are pretty samey. I didn't mind because the moment-to-moment combat was so thrilling. In terms of objectives, most missions are simply a case of exploring randomly generated asteroids in search of new upgrades and loot.
Ka-ching. The game is broken up into 5 seasons, which are each made up of 5 missions. Dying robs you of any progress in the season, so you'll need to make it through all 5 missions in one go to gain access to the next season.
And as you'd expect, the later seasons only get harder. However, you do gain some new tools, like the ability to transform your ship into a powerful mech.
I thought the mech really complemented your fighter ship, which is better at range. The mech's laser sword and grapple attacks means it's geared more towards close combat.
Oh, gross.
Yes, the mech adds yet another dimension to the combat as you flick between it and the fighter depending on the scenario. Oh, there's so much I love about this, but we should wrap it up. So what are you giving it, Bajo?
This was a real surprise. There have been so many retro games over the last few years, and a lot of them I've really enjoyed, but so few of them actually bring something truly new to their genre.
Receiving fire.
Galak-Z, however, reshapes what I thought was possible from 2D shooters. There's just so much depth in those controls. It's just brilliant. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
I agree, I had a blast. So brutal, but so worth it. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens as well.
Pew pew, pew pew, pew pew, pew pew.
Well guys, we're almost at the end of the show, so time for some answers, Darren.
Affirmative. At the start of the show, I asked you this. Platforming hero Mega Man is known by a different name in his country of origin, Japan. What is that name? And the answer is Rockman.
Yes, and he had that name because the gameplay was originally inspired by the game Rock, Paper, Scissors.
Amazing. Next week on the show, we'll tackle some tricky stealth puzzles in volume. And a big thank you to all of the Spawnlings who came out to the Enmore Theatre in Sydney for our live show. It was crazy fun.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we got a visit from the president of French Perth.
Oh, how wonderful to see you all here. Monsieur Goose,
bonjour.
Monsieur Bajo, Mademoiselle X.
Oh, that reminds me. He sent me some soft cheese in the mail as a thank you gift.
Oh,
In
PU.
the mail, I think you can hang on to that, Darren.
But it's so wondrously stinky.
No, thank you, Darren. Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out.
Darren out. It's your loss, you know. I'll be putting it in my cheese sandwiches for the next month.
I mean, that stuff should just be refrigerated for hygiene reasons.
Too late, Hex. Too late.